Hello, everyone, and welcome to I Am Not Okay with Day. I am your host, Day. And today, if you're watching the YouTube video, you already see the beautiful, amazing guest I have here with me. She has become like an amazing friend to me. She is a fellow social worker, a businesswoman, a mental health therapist. She is that girl. Okay. It is none other than Mel B.
Yes. Hi, welcome, welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am so excited. Okay. I'm so
Yes.
excited for this conversation. I feel like it's been a long time coming. Y'all
Yes.
will hear why, but I'm ready. Let's just dive in.
Dive in. Let's go.
Okay, so we're gonna start with our some type of way segment. Are you ready to
Mhm.
tell us what had you feeling some type of way? You're our guests. Go ahead and let us know.
Yeah, something that had me feeling some type of way. There's a couple things, but I'm going to be very nice, right? We are still working on ourselves here.
Okay.
Um, what I will say is because it's been a long time coming to join you on this beautiful, wonderful podcast, I was so excited to get my microphone. Like, I literally posted in the beginning of 2023, like there was this prophetic video going around viral on TikTok, like, I got the mic, 2023, I got the mic. And so when you told me to go get the mic, I was so excited because like I have a lot to say and share.
Right.
And then I ordered the mic off of Amazon. The mic did not want to come. The mic was supposed to come Saturday, then it said, "Congratulations, it's coming Wednesday." I was like, "Oh, great, come on through Wednesday." Didn't come Wednesday, nor Thursday, nor Friday. So Saturday, I had to finally say, "I need a backup plan because I'm gonna get this mic." So I went on Target, and Target was like, "We got the mic, but it's the last mic." So went and got the mic. And then it was the piece that I thought I had that was not there. So, I was feeling kind of like, okay, is the enemy trying to like mute
Trying to
me?
block
I,
it.
trying to block me because I'm getting this mic. So that had me feeling some kind of way because I put more time and energy into it, but it was worth it. Because look at us now. Hello,
Look at
you
us
see it?
now.
Look at us now. You will
We're
not
doing the thing.
prosper. Yeah. So that's what had me feeling some type of way. And you know what else? Amazon won't even let me cancel, yeah, saying that I have to wait until Tuesday to get my refund. So
Why?
because they said they want us to want me to give them a couple days to see if it
Oh, to
comes
see if it
through.
arrives?
Yeah, so it's like after Tuesday, you can request your refund. So
That is
not
so
only
annoying.
that I had to get another one, but I can't get my money for the other one that hasn't come. So
Just it's happening. It's just not
yes,
happening today.
not
Okay, but
today.
we're claiming it.
We're
Okay, because
claiming it.
God, listen, God blocked the enemy
He
today,
did. He sure did.
and he gonna block the enemy to get your money. Okay, you gonna get that money, honey. Okay.
Right, exactly. Had me going over my little budget this week. I was like, okay, fine. But yeah, so that had me feeling some type of way, but I had to remember who I serve. And
Amen.
I already know that what we're about to do is impactful, it's needed, and it's a collaboration that's been like long way overdue, right?
Yeah.
So I already knew I was ready and I
Yes.
showed up. And God always says, you show up, he does the rest. And here we are.
Okay. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
I love it. Well, girl, my some type of way,
Yes.
I had a lot too, and I had to really think about what we gonna talk about. But I settled on our conversation on Sunday, okay?
Mm,
Because
watch it go.
girl, that conversation had me feeling a lot of type of ways, okay? I cried in different times of
Mm,
the conversation. I praised the Lord. It was so impactful in a many, many
yeah.
ways, which I'm sure we'll get into in a little bit. But I told you after we talked, like, it changed the game for me. I
Yeah.
literally was thinking in the week about some of the things that we were talking about, and, like, it was literally life changing.
Yes, it
So,
was.
I'm so happy. I'm so glad that we reconnected. I think, like you said, I think God is
Mhm.
in the center of this.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
that he has a work to do through us. I know he's gonna do it,
Mhm.
and I'm so, so
Mhm.
excited for what that's gonna be like.
You wanna tell
So
them how long we were, like, on the phone?
y'all, okay, I was gonna bring this up. You guys, I
Yeah.
called what time? Okay, I think I called you like 2:47 or something.
Yeah, it was my fault because we were scheduled for 1, and I got lost in
Rescheduled.
this sermon. It's my blame Pastor Michael
You know what?
Todd. We're
It's
gonna
okay.
blame him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yes, we were gonna have a call at 1 o'clock. It didn't work out, but it still happened. We got off the
Yeah.
phone. I think the clock said 8:11 p.m. Okay,
Yeah.
that is almost 6 hours of talking. I have never talked to any human being for that long in my
I
life.
couldn't believe it. We were doing laundry, washing dishes.
Just doing housework and talking about deep things in
Yeah.
life, like
Yeah.
no, but it was the best. Like, it
Yeah.
was like I said, it was literally life-changing. Some of the things that we talked about are things that I never thought about before. Things that
Mhm.
one day, y'all, I hope to be sharing on the podcast, but it was just
Mhm.
life-changing. So,
Yeah.
it had me feeling all the things, and I'm so excited that we get to share just a portion of that
Yeah.
conversation with everybody listening today. So, let's just dive in, y'all, okay?
Yeah.
Because first, let's talk about how we know each other, okay? So, do you wanna take it over? Do you wanna me
You
to tell the
know
story?
Okay, because I know we have 2 different experiences here, so I guess I can tell my experience, and
Okay,
then you can tell
yes.
yours.
Okay, yes, let's hear it.
So, I had just graduated with my master's degree in social work, and my first job that I accepted was, working at the mental health facility, the center that we met at, and it's so interesting because, first of all, I had an amazing. You guys, the team that we had,
The
I
best.
I like that changed the game for me. I was like, if I work with
Yes.
people, I need it to be like this. So, day I'm trying to figure out, like, how we even, like
I can't remember. I was
I
trying to
can't
think about
remember
this too.
either.
I don't know how it happened. I don't remember
It
the
just
first, like, encounter.
happened,
Yeah.
like, I just know we communicated, like, you know, and it was, like, next to me, and you
Yeah.
guys were close, that's what it was. I think
Yeah.
you were always visiting him in his office, and I was right next door, and then I would come to the door, here and there. I
Yeah.
was the one that was working. You guys were like, "Would you stop and just come, like, sit down? Like, can you take a break?" And I was just like, "Guys, like, we have so much work to do." And they're just like, "How do you do all these everything?" And so somehow I just picture you eventually sitting in my chair in my office. And I don't know if I came to you first, and then from there it was like, yeah, come over to my office. And I came into your office. Oh, by the way, y'all, they had the best office space, okay, with the windows and the couch and everything. I was feeling really jealous because my room was like
Oh,
this
yeah.
small.
Yeah, I know. I
They
love
I
my
don't even know
office.
what
I
that
really
was,
did.
and the shape of it wasn't even consistent. It was like this. I don't even know what kinda shape
It
that was. We
was a
never even learned
weird
that,
shape office. Yeah, it wasn't the best.
but I made it work. It was very,
It was
like
cute. You decorated it very
yeah,
cute.
yeah. So, from there, we just started sitting in each other's, like, taking turns and just talking.
Yeah.
And I remember you and Aunt telling me about, like, a podcast to listen to. Yeah, we started getting personal and, like, sharing stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it just happened from there. And
Yeah.
then also, I think, hosting, like, the, game nights, right? Like, each person was
Mhm.
hosting, inviting us over, and then we were
Yeah.
able to connect personally there. And then also, what I remember is us trying to work out.
And you invited me because I'm not about the workout life, okay? And
We were
you
trying
were
to find a balance of
you would
mental.
invite me a lot, and I was like, "Ugh."
I was like, "Come on, Day, you got this. We could do this. Come over. We don't have to pay for a gym membership. It's beautiful outside. We got a gym. That's kinda how it all started, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. My perspective, like you, I don't remember how it really started. But
Mhm.
listen, when you do a job like ours, you need to take breaks. Okay. You take breaks in the middle of the day when a client cancels, that is your time. That was my time. I'm walking around to my my coworkers' offices. What are y'all doing? What are
Yeah.
y'all
That's
doing?
what it was. That's
And
what
we're
it
just chatting.
was.
The thing is, what I've also found in I think in our field too, we
Mhm.
get all the way personal really quickly. We just like
Yeah.
tell each other our whole entire life story because we're doing like such raw work
Yeah.
and we need to have support that it is easy in some ways to just like talk about all the things that are going on. And so
Mhm.
yeah, me and Aunt used to talk all the time. Okay. I've been in his office for like too long, really. Be up in
That's
your
true.
office talking. Next thing you know,
Yeah.
an hour passes, it's like, oh, they get this.
Yeah. I was the newbie. I was the newbie. I
Yes,
was
so
like, "This is."
indoctrinated. You told you what the situation was. Don't stress
Yep.
yourself out, girl. This is what it is. You
Yeah,
still
you guys
stressed yourself
did.
out, but it was fine.
Indeed. Indeed. I don't know. I think it was the perfectionist in me. I didn't know I
It was
was
your
a
first
perfectionist.
job, and
It
that
was.
makes sense because I
It
think I was
does,
well, girl,
right?
we all went through it because I did the same thing. I'm at that job. The first 3
Mhm.
months, I was like you doing the most, killing off myself trying to get these notes done until I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen for me.
It's
Like,
not.
and then Aunt
No.
was like, yeah, girl, you're doing too much. This is not
Yeah.
possible.
Mhm.
Slow it down. And then I was like, you know what? Facts. And ever since I took on that mentality, I've been much happier.
You guys were amazing at it. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try it."
Because
I'm
in
lost.
general, I'm a pretty chill person, I feel like.
Yeah.
I'm like a laid back person, I feel like. So that is who I am. But then I wanted to
Mhm.
do things right and did it up. But
Yeah.
yeah, no. But
I couldn't
anyways.
help it. I couldn't help it. And it's so crazy. I was the newbie, and then who was the first one out? Look, y'all hyped me up so much. I was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "You know what? Y'all right. It's
I'm
too
out.
much."
This ain't
And
for me, okay? I know,
that
and
was
when you left,
hilarious.
it was so sad. Your leaving was like the catalyst for everything. It was
Oh,
so sad. I was like, I can't talk to Melissa in her office anymore. Like, what I'm gonna
yeah.
do, you know?
Yeah.
Things really changed. Then Aunt left. Then I
Yeah.
left eventually.
Yeah, that
But yeah.
was. You guys made me feel so good, like,
Oh,
writing me, yeah, you remember, like, when I was trying to study for the exam, I passed
yes.
cards out to everybody to come by. Anytime you walk past, ask me a question,
Oh
and
my
then,
gosh,
like,
and we were helping you practice, asking you all
we
these
were
questions.
family, we really
We
were,
were. No, our tea was
and
the best. I loved our tea.
yeah, yeah, it was, and so when I left and you guys, like, wrote me this card, I still have it. I
Oh,
have it, it
I
was so
still have things too
beautiful.
from there. I
Yeah.
had when I left, I got things too, and it was so sweet. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
miss that.
I
That's when my whole
know.
life changed. I was like, you can work with people who are genuinely good. You guys are so
Yes.
amazing. And I
Oh.
learned from each of you. Like everybody there was just, I love the team so much that it made the hard times easier to deal with.
Yes.
Like coming in, I didn't dread coming in because I knew I could
Mhm.
see you guys. And that was just encouraging. And
Same.
those
And
days.
then okay, and then what happened too is that, like, we did the working out thing. I think that's when we got closer, and I
Hmm.
remember when I was getting divorced, I remember that's, like was that the first time we went out to dinner? Like, actually, like, we hung out as a team, like you
Yeah,
said, the
we
game nights and
did.
stuff, but I think I was like, "Okay, I'm about to leave, so let's have this just, like, last dinner together," and
Mhm.
I feel like that's when we got to a new level in our friendship because that's when I was
Yeah.
telling you just everything,
Mhm.
and
And I
you
know
were
that
telling
was
me everything.
hard for you.
It
I
was
know that was
really
hard.
hard. Yeah, it was the worst, girl, and that was in
Mm.
the heart that was in the literally, it just happened.
No.
I was packing up my whole entire life, getting ready to leave. I knew I wouldn't see, like, you or anyone else again, like,
Mhm.
it was a hard time, but we really connected in the last
Yeah.
conversation. I was like, "Okay, I know I'm leaving, but Let's try to keep in touch. But then you know what
Ugh,
happens as adults, like
I know, life happens. It's already getting me a little choked up because it's really, like, I'm sinking
Oh,
in because I just remember you, and I just know, like, I just loved your spirit. You're such a sweetheart, and just how everything,
yeah.
I trust in God, let me say that,
Yes.
I
But what
trust
I
in
wanted to
God.
say though is that like when we talked, when we had like reconnected, because like I
Mhm.
said, as adults, we didn't really, things happen.
Yeah.
But I remember then you left and you moved.
Mhm.
And so we were like, let's have a catch up chat.
Yeah.
And that was the first time that we both just talked about God and talked about
Yeah.
how God, like God's role in everything. I remember I left that conversation like, this is so unexpected. Like, what?
Yeah. Changed my
I
whole
did
life.
not expect to have that conversation with you because we never really talked about
Never
God
did.
when we were together in
No.
person. Even of the last like time that the last dinner, we didn't really do
We
that.
did not, no. We were very
You
surface, very
Yes,
flesh-like, like, it wasn't
exactly.
deep. It was
It
deep
wasn't.
as far as, like, our problems, but it wasn't
Mhm.
like I wasn't there though, to be honest. I was
Yeah.
not there.
And I didn't want to like push anything onto anyone. Like
Mhm.
for me, I have my beliefs and everything, but I respect everybody where they're at. So I'm not gonna like
Absolutely.
force talking about certain things if the person's not there. But once you opened up that door, I was like, okay, so like I can start
I was
talking
so
about this.
excited, yeah. And I didn't
And
even know you were that kinda deep into it. Like, I knew you were, but I was like, I
yeah.
didn't wow.
Well, honestly, I have to say, like, after the divorce, things really changed for me
Mhm.
spiritually too. Like, when I really felt like me and God just became like this. Like,
Yeah. Ooh,
our relationship changed.
I love that
Yes.
relationship. It's
Yes.
it's the
So
reason why I'm glowing now. Yeah.
literally glowing. Okay. Can we talk about
Mhm.
it? Like,
I mean, let's
look at
let's
her,
do
y'all.
it because we look amazing. Like, we look like nothing happened, you know?
Ah,
And
it's
a
the
lot
Lord. It's
has
God's glow. A
happened.
lot has
A lot has
happened.
happened. And that's
Yes.
when my relationship got close, like, with God, when I
Mhm.
chose to move. Yeah, that changed
Yeah.
everything.
Yes. And so, like, I think that when we reconnected again for this
Mhm.
6 hours that we talked, we talked about God like literally the whole
The
time.
whole time.
And it was such an enriching conversation.
So fulfilling.
I mean, like I said, like, let me just give you an example, y'all. I have been thinking about my life in one certain way this entire time.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
Mel asked me one question, and it made me reconsider every single thing I thought I knew. I actually like had to like think back, like, wait, what? Like, no, this is what I was so secure in this one thing. And
Yeah.
she asked me a question. I was like,
Mhm.
that's what I mean when you change the game. Like there was many questions that you asked. No one's ever asked me before. No one's ever
I
gone
was
to that place
scared to
before.
ask you. I'm not even gonna lie, but I felt the like, God, like, my spirit was just like and what happened before I even spoke, before I even
Mhm.
asked you, I asked you, I said, "Hey,
Yeah.
do you
One
mind if
once I heard you say, "Hey," I knew. I knew.
I was like, "I'm not gonna speak on it." I was like, "I can just listen because we haven't spoken in
Yeah.
so long." And
Mhm.
I wanted to respect your boundaries. I wanted to who am I, to speak
Yeah.
on anything, right? Because I go through things too. But
Mhm.
literally, as you were speaking, I just felt something that said,
It
"Oh,
was
this is
God.
it." Yeah, it was God. I felt like the
Mhm.
Holy Spirit was moving in that
Mhm.
moment, and I was responsible for communicating that in that moment. And
Mhm.
even after I communicated it, you remember what I said to you after? Like when I was like, after I was done delivering the message,
I don't even remember. What did you say?
I said, but still sit down with him, still take it to God and still,
Oh, yeah. Like, you
yeah,
didn't wanna, like, fully claim that this was,
claim
like,
that.
what God was saying because you were
Correct.
scared. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
and
but I did. I did sit with it. I sat with it the whole week. I talked about it within therapy. And y'all, I know we're kind of talking around in circles. Like I can't tell you
I know.
specifically what we said. I am sorry. Maybe
Yeah,
one day. But I was telling my therapist everything we were talking about, and she was
yeah.
like, out. She
Get
was in awe.
out.
She was in awe. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. But the point of all of this, y'all, is that Mel's relationship, our relationship
Mm,
has really changed into
mhm,
something so beautiful, so unexpected, so I think God guided.
mhm.
And it's
Right.
something after we just had these conversations, we realized, okay, A, first of all, Mel has just so much wisdom, things that just need to be out there. Okay.
Yeah.
And B, like we have to spread this. Like we can't, we were literally like, bro, I wish we could
Mhm.
record this right now and just put this out there because this is it.
It was so raw. It was so good. It was so empowering. And
Mhm.
typically, like, if I leave a 6-hour plus conversation, not saying I
You're
just do that,
exhausted.
exhausted.
You're
I'm
like, I don't
ex
want to talk to nobody ever
nobody.
again.
I felt so good. I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah,
And I was so
same.
excited for you. I was
Aw.
excited for me too,
Yeah,
because that was
yeah.
the day, like, honestly, like, I walked away feeling like, "You should trust yourself, because trusting you is trusting God." You know, I've
Mhm,
invited him in my life. I've literally, like, said, "God, this is yours. I surrender." And so there's moments where God will use you, and I know that in times God will send help. He
mhm.
will send
Yep.
help, and that was huge for me. So I was like, maybe I really should trust and start speaking. And here you are, Day, like, yeah, well, here we go. Let's go ahead and kick this episode in. Come on. Let's
Literally,
make it happen.
like, when are we
Go get the
recording the
mic.
podcast?
Go get the mic. Because we're recording
We're
this
doing this.
weekend.
We're
We're
doing
doing
this.
this. Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
so affirming. And I just, more than anything, it was you. Like, oh, thank God I was able to be in that, for him to use me in that moment for you, for your healing, for your
Mhm.
growth, for your progress. Like,
Yeah,
wow.
it was amazing.
It was.
Well, okay, so that brings me into the next thing that we were talking about, which is when we were talking, you told me, y'all, not not Mel telling me that she'd been following me on Instagram. I didn't even know. I didn't even know she was following me. Okay.
I
And
mean,
so
your podcast said, follow me. So I was like, get it.
I know. And
I
so I
wrote you and
didn't know.
everything.
She sent me a message. I didn't even know, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to everyone who's been sending messages on the I'm Not Okay Pod Instagram page. I just have not gotten them. I don't be
Hmm.
on there. I didn't look. But I ended up finding out that she follows me. And when I found your page,
Hmm.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about it.
More
Tell
than a
us.
woman. Yeah.
More
Say.
than a woman. That is your page. Okay, and I was like, I need to know, what does this mean? What is this? So share with everybody. What
Absolutely.
does it mean to be more than a woman?
Oh my gosh. So I'm going to go to my notes because there's some important, like, I want to make some important tips. So, first of all, I knew I was destined, like, to do more and to, like, literally do more. And I was just like, what am I going to do? I thought I was just going to join somebody's organization and volunteer somewhere, do all the things. But I felt like God put it in my spirit that I was going to be in a position that was going to call me to lead, right? But not really lead, because I don't like to say that. Like, I don't feel like people always say you're a leader, but I'm like, not
Mhm,
lead, but just like support, empower, encourage, um, all the positive terms we could use in this moment. And so I literally moved to another state, right? And I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? What is this business gonna look like? I don't know. There's so many people out here doing the things that
mhm.
I would have like already done, and I didn't want to be a duplicate, right? Or I don't know. So I just leaned on him for that guidance. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what you want me to do, but I'm willing to do it. And then this vision came to me and I just saw me speaking. Yeah, I saw me
I didn't even know
speaking,
that.
girl, speaking, people, me speaking, and me pouring out. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, okay, I need to create a name. I need a name. Mind you, I'm a big Aaliyah fan. Like, I love me some Aaliyah. And I just remember, like, being a kid, like, listening to all her jams and her songs, and then More Than a Woman was, like, a song that just always spoke to me because my background, right, society kinda put this label on me, and well, all of us, I think we can all
Mhm,
speak to
mhm,
that, but I'll
for
speak from
sure.
my experience, and I felt limited, and I felt like, "Okay, like, is this all that I'm destined for? Like, what else is there to me?" And so I graduated with my master's and I had the same thing, more than a woman on my graduation photos. Like I did it on the cap, I took photos. I just always followed, like always had that follow with me. So, anyways, I was sitting down trying to come up with things for the business. Nothing worked out. And I was like, well, this name has to be taken. So I checked in, I was sending an application. Hey, is this name available? This name is available, more than a woman. I was like, okay. So maybe I'm meant to take on that name as the business. And so, first off, to be more than a woman is to be more than societal and cultural expectations.
Period.
Everything that I've gone through, like literally thought about from day one, I was like, I was always more than that.
Mhm,
I never knew, I never understood. Like, let me just share what I wrote down the other day. And I was just like, what? So I learned that my circumstances never defined me. It never ever did. I thought it did, but
mm,
it never did. And I didn't know who I was called to be in Christ. And I only knew what the world spoke of me. And I remember that question you asked me, what is the narrative I wanted to change? That was the
mhm,
narrative I wanted to change, is that we are more than what is placed on us because God knows us truly. And the world doesn't really know us like God knows us. And so when he calls you, you're just like, but how? What do you
mhm,
mean me? And then like to actually like I'm still processing that he chose me. Like me
mhm.
from, and who me?
Right.
You want me to be the one to break a cycle? You want
Mm,
me the one you want me to be the one to build a legacy? Like me? What am I gonna do? And then that's when I learned that he equips you, but we don't know what he's gonna equip us with. We don't know what it
mm,
looks like. So you have to have faith and you
mhm,
have to trust in the more. So I started looking at myself like, okay, so this is just a vessel that I'm just all belongs to you, right? So this is just the vessel that I'm in, and there's something inside of me that's more than I can even handle at times. So I'm
mhm,
like, this is overwhelming. It's empowering, but it's really overwhelming. And people will say to me all the time, when you walk in the room, it's something about your spirit. It's something about your
mm,
energy. I hear that all the time, your energy, your energy. So I believe that God carefully like constructed my path so I can get the opportunity to get to know him, and he gave me the chance, and that is still mind blowing to me. So, more than a woman is about personal empowerment, women empowerment. Initially, I wanted it to be open to everybody, but for
mhm,
some reason, the women are the ones who are in the room showing up in our
mhm,
community. And I just appreciate that. So, step by step, I just started showing up. I
mhm,
just didn't have all the pieces, don't have all the funding, but I have the information
mhm,
and I have what God put inside of me, and that vision literally started coming to light. And
mhm,
so as I got in the room, right? The first one was setting intentions. Then the next event I held was about knowing your worth. The next event turned into setting boundaries. And now I'm working on the next event, which I'm torn between, which is I don't have the capacity or it's the lack of trust for me. I'm torn between those two.
ooh, those sound
Right?
good. Do
So
both of
those are
them,
my
just
next.
at different times,
Oh,
that's all.
yeah, absolutely. They're all coming. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to create a space where women and people, men, all, you
Mhm,
know, beings can come and feel safe, and open up and learn new skills, build connection. Um, it's all about internal. That's my
mhm,
number one rule. We're here for the internal. We're always taught go get the car, go get the home, go get the degree, everything outside of you, go get the
mhm,
relationship, get everything outside of you. I want to be intentional with teaching people how to grow internally on the
mhm,
inside. And my hope is that by growing on the inside, because that's what happened to me when I started digging within. I found God. And so
Yeah.
maybe that can help connect people to realize that there's something more inside of them that they can utilize and tap into that they
Mhm.
don't even know exists. And I know as a clinician, you see it too, where we
Mhm.
speak to people and they're in front of us and we're just like, you don't even see, you don't even see it. And it's already
Yeah.
in you. So I just
Yeah.
want to help bring it to light as like as good as I can, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. So you mentioned earlier about the narrative, right? And the narrative that you had that was so limiting and how you were able to shift and kind of rewrite that. So I was curious, what is that narrative that you kind of carried with you? And how were you able to write a different story? Like what made you change and rewrite that narrative?
All right. So as I mentioned earlier, the narrative is what pretty much I'm limited to societal cultural expectations. And as I share with you, this is hard, but it's time, right? All that I've been through was not in vain. So I want to go ahead and be open about just certain things.
Mhm.
And so here we go.
Here we
Vulnerability.
go.
Vulnerability
Vulnerability, it's
at its
strength. Let's remember it is strength. Okay. I know it's really hard. I mean,
yes.
I've been doing this
Oh,
for like 2 years now,
and I commend you.
and it's hard. And even some days, it's still hard. Like, there's still a
Yeah,
lot of things I have not spoken about. So
yeah.
I understand. And I just want to say, as someone who has shared, um, it is so fulfilling in many ways.
Mhm.
It's freeing for you, for me as a person sharing it and just kind of like releasing this thing that really held me in bondage, I think, for a
Right.
long time. And it's also something that people connect with. I mean, I
Yeah.
cannot tell you how many people have reached out to me and said, "Thank you for talking
Wow.
about this. Thank you for saying this. Like, I feel the same way. I've
Yeah.
been going through this too." And that's the thing that makes to me this podcast worth it. If I even just have one person say, "Same. I'm going
Yeah.
through this too." Like, that's all I need.
Yeah.
So, there is power in your vulnerability. So, just want
Yes.
to remind you of that before you dive
Thank
in.
you. Thank you so much. And it's so crazy because that's a narrative like the one I'm about to share is the one I've been running from. And like
Mm,
I've gotten to a space where people would always say, like, you're not your past. You don't have to, bring it up. You don't have to talk about it. And so I've gotten muted. I've muted myself
wow.
because of like people just kind of like not intentionally minimizing,
Mhm.
but it kind of got to a point where society was just tired of hearing about people's stories and
Mhm.
sobbing. It's like, just get up, just make it happen. So I got lost in the, okay, I'm not my past, and just get up and make it happen, become more than what you've been through. But honestly, like now it's like, it's okay to talk about it. Like
Mhm.
for you to say, go ahead and do it. It needs to be heard. Now we can
Mhm.
say that my past has a huge impact on who I am today.
Mhm. I
So
mean, the thing is, too, let's just remember that the only way to, they say the only way to get past is to go
mhm,
through. You can't
mhm,
go through unless you talk about what has
correct.
happened in the past. It's literally
Mhm.
impossible. And I think something I've been reminded of myself, a lot of the people who are trying to mute you are doing it because, I mean, I don't think it's like malicious, but I think a lot
No.
of times they do it because they can't handle hearing the truth. Like hearing the truth is
Yeah.
uncomfortable for them, and they don't want to sit in that discomfort, so they just want to like move on to the
Yeah.
solution, like fix it,
Yeah.
versus like, yeah, let's actually sit and talk about this like painful
Right.
experience, you know
Yeah, let's
sometimes we need
normalize
to
it. Yeah,
normalize talking
absolutely.
about what's going on.
Especially if you wanna get to know me and understand me. And honestly, like I honestly like that question changed my life because it was like, I feel like people have forgotten, like those who may
Mm,
have, information about my past.
mhm.
Like it's been muted for so long that we don't make that an excuse, right? For how
Right.
we behave, that you are this person that they see today. And it's like, no, that still gets me. I still have dreams, I
Mhm.
still have
Mhm.
flashbacks and experiences that, and so I'll go ahead and go into it.
Mhm.
So This is big. Here we go. And I know a lot of people have been through like this as well. So I'm gonna speak to those. And then for those who don't know, this is a chance to listen with an open heart, open ear. So I grew up like in a very dysfunctional household, which led to me ending up in foster care. I've been in a group home before, and I've lived in a variety of homes. And so, as I'm speaking, you could hear like the nervousness. But as I as I as I'm speaking and I'm thinking back like around those times in the homes I was in, the people I was around, um, and the behavior I displayed. Oh my God, out of like I just didn't know any better, you know? I was
Mhm.
scared. I don't know. It was just a lot going on around that time. Anywho, because of that, I was labeled to become a statistic as far as like kids who go in the system, they most likely drop out of high school, they don't finish school, they end up on drugs, they end up pregnant, like just all the negative kind of labels. Like I've heard that so much growing up that I was like,
Mhm.
I say this was God. God had me even when I didn't have me. I feel like God protects you when you're so unaware. And he
Always.
knew, right?
Always.
He knew it wasn't fair for me to conform and believe what people were
Mhm.
just putting on me. And there was something about me that wanted more, something in me that was like, even though you're having a hard time, you're going to prove them wrong. You're
Mhm.
going to become someone that changes the lives of many, right? So that's when I learned that my experiences weren't meant for me to be put down, but for
Mm.
me to be like built up
Yeah.
into this person to show like, because God is like a way of like, this is what it looks like when I'm involved, when I choose you, when I have purpose for you, that this will not prosper. It could have, but it
Mhm.
didn't.
Mhm.
And so the narrative that I changed was like, I am bigger and I am better than those expectations because I know who I serve. I know who has chosen me. I know who knows all. I know who has written, right? Who has it written for me. And
Mhm.
I can't listen to people who are limited in their knowing, right?
Wow. Mhm.
No more. Because they don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. Like we do our best to get an idea, but based off my behavior and my history, I was supposed to not be in this position that I'm in
Mhm.
today with a whole master's degree, not pregnant, not on drugs, mentally and emotionally and physically stable. Like, yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
do it. I didn't conform. It did have me down at
Mhm.
some points. I was young, but no one really taught me, right, that I needed God more than anything around that time, and that He is all that I needed to validate who I am,
Mhm.
right? Because the world would do a great job at not validating you. And so God is the one who validates me. And moving forward, He makes the rules. So I just want what He wants. I want to
Yeah.
just be in the knowing of him and go from there. And I have
Mhm.
my journey when I've been on and off this path with God. And so the relationship I have with him now is completely different. But that's the narrative that I change is that we're bigger and better because like honestly, we're limited, we're told sacrifice for others and this is what you do, but it's like I don't want to sacrifice for others. I want to sacrifice for me now. Like I want to just focus on me. So no, I'm not that statistic. I'm a statistic, but like let's put that in the pro of like the
Mhm.
outcome. The outcome
Mhm.
is much better. So for those people, that said all those things out of fear, out of their own personal thoughts and feelings, their limited mindset. Thank you for empowering and encouraging me to keep going.
I love that. Was there
Mhm.
like a moment when you realized like, no, this is not my life? Like, was there like a moment, even with your relationship with God, that like
Yeah.
that changed it for you?
Oh my god. That's a great question. What moment didn't? There was many moments.
Mhm.
Seeing other people, um, other kids that were in the homes that I was in, their struggles,
Yeah.
um, young, having kids, um, ending up in juvie, like, I was terrified. I was already terrified, but I was like, "No, I don't wanna go there," and so whatever I gotta do to stay out of there, I wanna do that, you know? So just seeing other people's experiences and all the battles, and I'm not gonna lie, I even had a therapist that I was like, "Mm-mm, I'm not talking to you," you know? And now that I look back, I was like, "Oh, I probably should've." But
But you weren't ready.
I
You weren't
wasn't
ready.
ready. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I didn't care. So I honestly, I wasn't reunited with my mother. I was, because that's who I was staying with.
Mhm.
That's who I was removed from. I actually, um, my grandmother got me out of the system when I was like in 7th grade, middle school. I want to say
Mhm.
7th grade, like half of that. And then from there, I stayed with her until I got out. So that experience too, I don't know. That one's hard to even to really like tap into.
Mhm.
But I knew that I had to finish school. I had to get my diploma because I saw things around me too around that time that I was like, I
Yeah.
don't want to struggle like that. I don't want to be on drugs. I see what it does. Being out in the streets, I saw what it did, losing people to gun violence. That wasn't fun. And that was at a young age. And then
Yeah.
imagine doing that with lack of knowledge about grief, loss, and God. So I had to make sense out of like nothing. And that's why
Mhm.
I just really give the glory to God because I don't know how. I just knew I I had no control over many aspects of my life growing up. And the one thing I can control is actually like the outcome and like my decisions. Not fully the outcome cuz
Mhm.
not all outcomes we can control, but as far as
Yes.
like the decision to say, I'm gonna finish school, I'm gonna make good grades, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna do the things. But then society always tells you, go get the job, go get the degree, right? Go get
Mhm.
all the things, but they don't teach you how to maintain it. They don't
Right.
teach you that you go through emotional and mental things. And that's why a lot of people lose things. And I was never really taught how to become the things that I needed to I guess, accomplish what I needed and what I wanted. So I was scared more than anything to become a statistic. I didn't want to be a single parent. I
Mhm.
didn't want to end up
Mhm.
pregnant and like not know how to raise a kid. I saw what that looked like.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that. My mom had me young. The cycle. I didn't want to be a part of the cycle.
Mhm.
I just wanted something different, and so seeing how my mom struggled, my dad was young, they had me young. They were in high school, like, they met it
Mhm.
in high school, and they weren't married. They were just young, and
Yeah.
so I didn't wanna do that. I just knew something in my spirit told me, "There's more.
Yeah.
There's more."
That is amazing because I think a lot of people do things when there is fear, we
Yeah.
do different things. It could either be lean into the thing that you're scared of the most and
Mhm.
inadvertently become the thing that you're afraid of. Or what you did was, I am terrified of this. I don't want this for myself. And do the complete
I
opposite
did.
that you believe is going to get you to that place. And
Yeah.
that takes a level of bravery, I think, because
Yeah.
I think the reason why cycles continue is because there is a comfort in the cycle. Like,
Yeah.
even if it's toxic and problematic, if it's the only thing that you know, you are going to stick in it because it
Yeah.
is scary to change that narrative, to change
Yeah.
and do things differently. It's going to require you to get out of your comfort zone. And that's just really hard to do.
You just kinda revealed something to me. You know what's funny as you say, like, comfort, uncomfortable? Oh
Hmm.
my gosh, I found a way. I could never get comfortable. Like, it was just I couldn't.
Hmm.
I It's so weird because it kinda still reflects in my life today where I'm just like, I could move, I could do things, and I can easily detach because
Hmm.
I've never had such a consistent household or situation.
Right.
And so I honestly, I used to feel bad about this. I no longer feel bad about being an inconsistent person. I don't.
Say
I'm
more.
sorry.
Say more, please.
I used to be, oh my God, y'all. And I'm not coming for y'all for the people who know they've said that to me. I love y'all so much. I just know y'all didn't understand, you know? Like people enter your life at certain chapters of your
Right.
life. I've had many chapters and I only know it.
Mhm.
People don't really truly know your experience.
Yeah.
And so expectations of me were placed that I could not fulfill. And so I've hurt a lot of people that I did not want to hurt. I didn't mean to hurt them. And this is where that narrative comes in, not
Mhm.
making that past your excuse. I didn't want it. It's not an excuse, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to break that because I found comfort in being so, I don't know, inconsistent. Like it's just been like, okay, keep it going. Okay,
Mhm.
next home, next family, next visitation. It just never was there for me. And
Yeah.
so you just like showed me like I was fearful of, um, you know, not like I did the opposite of what people typically do because
Mhm.
I feel like I was already living in the opposite in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that was the norm for me. So
That
I
was
did the
your
opposite.
norm. Right.
Yeah.
That was your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And that was no longer comfortable to me.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which I mean, wow, I think
Yeah.
that is crazy too because again, when you're no longer comfortable in your comfort zone, that is an
Yeah.
indication that you need to change something.
Yeah.
We need to go
Yeah.
somewhere else, you know?
Yeah.
So, I'm curious too, every time I say I'm curious,
I
you know what
love it. Yeah.
I say I'm curious because listen, at my last job, all the therapists used to say that, and the clients used to make fun of us. They're always like, "I'm curious about this." So every time I say that, I think about the clients making fun of us. But anyways, I am curious because you also talked about how God changed everything.
Mhm.
What do you think was the thing that really changed that
Oh
relationship with you and
gosh.
God? Like, how did that change? What happened to make it become something that is now at the forefront, whereas
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't before.
What changed my relationship with God was realizing that my plan wasn't working.
Retweet.
The plan was not planning. It was not
It was not
every
planning. The math
every
wasn't mathing, the plan wasn't planning. What else? Like,
everything that like I keep saying literally y'all.
it's
But
literally it is. It is literally. So it's fine.
I just love you. Like cycle. When you find yourself in the same position, it could be a different situation, but the
Mm,
outcome, I was
right.
sick of the outcome. I said, okay, God, this is not working for me. I've changed relationships, I've changed households, I've changed jobs. Ooh, this is big.
Mm,
I know this is coming. What I needed to change the whole entire time was within me. It was inside of me, the way I was thinking, the decisions I was making. All this time, I thought I needed to change my income. It was me. I was the problem.
it's
I was,
me.
it's
Hi. I'm the problem. It's me.
you. You're the
Right.
problem. And that was huge. When I took
Mm.
accountability and said, God, it's me.
Wow.
I I held so much to like my past situations, thinking
Mhm.
people fumbled me, thinking the jobs fumbled me. It was me who fumbled me. And
Mercy. Okay. Like
it was me because when did I stop to question and inquire my relationship to take the time to nurture and seek
Mm.
God? I never sought him the way I do now. I
Yeah.
never built let me not say that. I did seek him. I will honestly say there was a time when I was getting my associate's degree that I tried,
Mhm.
but it was from a religious perspective. I was told this is what you do.
Right, right,
This is
right.
how it looks.
It
And I
wasn't from a
never
relationship.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never connected. It felt I was depressed. Like I was like this because you were taught fear
Yeah.
to, God, you're going to go to hell, right? If you do this and that, if you think it, it's already done. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm just a horrible person. I don't know what to do. I was like, I don't know if I could do this journey. And then
Right.
it was just not it for me. I tried every like, what are the, I know it right now, but I can't say it. So
Like
like
denomination?
Christian denominations. Yes, I've
Mhm.
tried it all, like Catholic and all. I've tried it. Yes, I did. No
You were
disrespects.
seeking.
I was seeking God. I was seeking him,
Yeah.
but I was seeking him through the lens of others, like through the
Mm.
churches, through friends, through Bibles, like, but I never saw him within myself. That's why I never connected.
Mhm.
So when I started to take accountability and say, like, God, I realize that I seek you only for my benefit,
Mhm.
only when I need you. But what about when I don't need you? And so what changed it 100% for me was when I was studying for my exam and I failed it for the third time. And that was the hardest thing ever.
Yeah.
That was the worst feeling ever. And I remember because I started like praying and like reading the Bible. I bought me a Bible. It was really nice. And I felt like God said, even when you don't pass, will you still trust me? Will you still choose me?
Wow.
And do you know when I took that test, I told everybody, I was like, I don't want to talk. I just need a moment because I chose to be silent. Typically, when I took the test and failed it, I was like seeking, going to other people. For the
Mhm.
first time, I said, nope, I still choose you. I had a whole plan to move out of state. I'm going to make money. I was so
Mm.
excited. And God humbled me real quick and was like, you. And I was like, okay, so I'm not moving out of state because I failed this test. And now do I not quit my job? He said, no, you're still going, but this is how you're going. I said,
Wow.
okay. That was hard. I had to conform.
Yeah.
So a
I
form of
remember.
surrender. Yeah, that was hard. I was like,
Yeah.
and then instead of me getting my own place, I had to rent a room, you
Mhm.
know? So it didn't look like how I
Right.
wanted, but the outcome of where I am now, because honey took that exam and excelled, you know?
Praise.
I was,
Hallelujah.
you remember I was helping other people. Like I was
Yeah.
like, I was so good at
You're the one that gave me you held me, girl. Like you
I
gave
know.
all the things that you gave me, I used that, and that's how I passed my test.
I know. Everybody was
Yeah.
passing their test but me.
Oh
And
no.
guys, and I want to share this.
Mm.
You heard me say everybody was passing their test but me. The test
Right.
was bigger
Yeah.
for me. I
Wow.
know. I
That
know.
because that wasn't the test.
That wasn't the
It was
test.
a different
It was
test.
a different kind of test I had to take.
Mm.
So when
Mhm.
I left that third time and said, God, and I honestly was not going to share this story. So this is God in me right now.
Wow.
I was not going to share this because I was like, this is not okay. But this is for someone who felt like giving up.
Yes.
The test is bigger and find out what that test is because
Mhm.
most of the time it's God trying to get your attention to protect you. And God was trying to protect me from certain things, right?
Mhm.
And he did. And I did make a mistake again that brought me right back to where he said, this again, I need it all.
Yeah.
Surrender all to me. So after that third time, I said, God, I still trust you. I'm angry. I said this too. I am
Mm.
angry. I am hurt, but I trust you.
Yeah.
And I still went in and put in my resignation. I did end up ending a relationship. I still said I was moving and I did all those things and it
And you
just looked
did.
different. And
And
I
did.
couldn't, right? And did. And I couldn't worry about everybody else who was passing. I don't know what they did. I don't know what their
Mhm.
relationship with God is like. God didn't need them in that manner. He needed me in that manner. The way he
Yeah.
used me was intentional because when I moved here, and then went and took I wasn't worried about a thing when I walked into that room.
Wow.
I woke up, said my prayer. If it's your will, let it be done. And I did that. And it was because I changed
Mhm.
the things within me, my decision
Mhm.
making, my mindset, my routine. I chose to prioritize him, my relationship with him, my time with him. And one of my coworkers I used to work with at the school system, I thank her because she sent me this pastor, Pastor Jerry Flowers. And I remember prolonging that video. to watch it. And I finally sat down and was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it because I was already reading my Bible. And I watched it in one video and I was like, wow. And I just from there watched every single one, and my relationship
Mhm.
with God transformed.
Yeah.
So I learned that I was the problem, my heart, and it was my responsibility to seek Him. It was no longer my parents, it was no longer my caregivers. I'm old enough, right? When He says, put away childish things,
Mhm. Yep.
and I'm
Yep.
not going to say I'm perfect, but I'm better and I'm proud. I'm so proud.
I love that so much. Hearing you talk about your experience, I mean, it's so similar to my experience in that it was something that I had to take accountability for as
Yeah.
well. And it was also what I learned is the lesson wasn't learned yet. You kind of like, again, like when you go to
Yeah.
school, you learn something new, but then you got to go through the quizzes and the
Yeah.
tests in order to see if you have mastered this new skill. And I think for me, it was my
Mhm.
faith. Like my faith
Yeah.
needed to grow. It needed to be tested in order to get to the place where it is
That's the
today.
word,
And
faith.
yeah, it is. And it's like you think the worst possible thing happens to you and like there's no way to get out of that, but
Yeah.
really what I've realized in my own personal life is the worst things ever have led me to having the greatest faith ever.
That part, that's the true win.
Yeah. And
That's
one thing I was actually talking about with a friend the other day too is that God does whatever it takes to save us. And
Mhm.
sometimes whatever that salvation is, it's not gonna
Yeah.
be something fun and exciting and good. But if it's
No.
gonna be the thing that brings us closer to him,
Mhm.
because our salvation is his top priority, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna like it sometimes. And I think that, again, like the quicker you learn the lesson, the better you're gonna be, the more
Yeah.
peace you're gonna
Mhm.
have.
Yeah,
So
because we do prolong our seasons.
we do. Girl,
We
that's so fun.
God be ready to move us, but we
He's
be
like,
like,
"Okay, come on, here it is. All right, here it is.
you
Okay."
know
Uh-huh.
that
Yeah.
come on, another sign? Here's a sign,
It's like the teacher teaching, and he's like, "Okay, so what's the answer?" And the kids are like, "Ah," and he's like,
Come
and he's like, "Okay, no.
no.
No, that's not it. Okay." God be like that sometimes, I feel like for us.
He does. He's an intentional God, okay?
Amen.
Um, I have learned to appreciate and embrace his appointed time.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly, Imma say this, and I'm just gonna be real. I This ain't even my life. This ain't
Yes.
why I've been
Yes,
stressed.
yes, and yes.
That's why I've been stressed, right? I've been
Mm,
frustrated. That's the answer to your question. I realize this ain't for me. Like,
mm,
when I realized that, that was another level for my relationship. So
mhm,
first it was, I trust you through this anger. I still choose you. I will still honor you.
mhm,
But then God was like, okay, I thought I gave him all, but then he was like, nope, I want that too. I want that area. I want
mm.
that and I
Oh,
want that. He was like, I want it all.
oh.
But I got to a point where I was like, okay, I still kept trying to say like for example, which I know this is going to be in our next episode, so we'll give it like a little
Mhm.
touch. You know how people say like, God, I just want the right man or woman,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
I just want what he wants. And
Period.
honestly, Lauren London helped me put verbiage to this. I love the journey
Really?
right now because
Yes.
I swear to you, it's like it is. Oh, I don't know if you've heard her. I know there's been but you guys, please follow her journey. It's so beautiful. Like that.
Mhm.
But you saw what happened for
Yeah.
it to take place in that to that magnitude.
Yeah.
So I say that to say I no longer care to ask God for the things I know he knows better in. Like he
Mhm.
already has it figured out. I just
Mm.
want to show up. I just want to be present and I just want to respect him as God because they say like in the Bible it says his thoughts are not our thoughts, his ways
Right.
are not our ways, once I under like, I was like, so like nothing? Like, even if I say, God, I want to go out and do this, you could literally have something else planned for
Mhm.
me. So I
Mhm.
just don't ask anymore. What I ask is for understanding, patience, all the
Mm.
things that will keep me humble in his spirit and his love, committed to our relationship, prioritizing him, strengthening me, because that's honestly what keeps me going, like being in his presence.
Mhm.
And it's so crazy because at times I'm like, I don't want to sound too like godly or religious, but it's like, but that's really what it is.
Yeah,
It
this
just
is it.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't care anymore. For the first time in my life, I can
Mm.
confidently actually say, I just, whatever you want from me, I want and I trust you. Give it, give it. I'm here.
I
Use me.
feel I feel like this is why we connected so
Yeah.
much, because I feel like I'm in that exact same place.
Yeah.
Although there's one thing that I feel like God is still working through,
Hmm.
but I feel like, girl, I went to a Bible study on Friday night,
Hmm.
and I had given a testimony before just about my struggles. And so the next Bible study, it was kind of like everybody's like, okay, so what's the update? Like, what happened,
Yeah.
And I was so happy to tell them the update. And for the first time, I said, you know what? I feel great. Like, I feel
Hmm.
at peace. Like,
Yeah.
really, like, I'm actually at peace. I'm totally okay.
Yeah.
And again, it's just the way that God works things out, because that peace, the way that
Mhm.
God has worked, especially last week, I feel like last week was just one of my favorite weeks of all time, honestly, because after our conversation,
Yeah.
after me just like pondering a lot of things, I also did something I've never done before. I'm gonna talk about that
Mm.
later. Maybe in
Okay.
another podcast episode, y'all stay tuned.
Ooh.
And that changed everything for me. And since that, I really feel this.
Mm.
I feel like I'm on a new chapter of
Yes.
like, okay, what
Yes.
is it? What's the next thing? Like, I feel so
That's
just
amazing.
good. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yes. So oh my God, falling in love with you is to fall in love with God. That was my experience. That was my
Mm,
journey.
that
I could
part.
I could not believe that, but honestly, like that's also saved for our, that
Yeah, our
ever
next
yeah.
episode. Stay
Yeah,
tuned,
but I
y'all.
just wanted to add that like there is a connection of love there. There's a connection of trust there, and there's a that faith.
Mhm,
There's I think we really, and I'll speak for myself. I definitely underestimated the power of faith, what it
mhm,
means to really have faith. And so everything that I was able to do within me led to the greatest love ever
mm,
known. Yeah. So when people say like they're falling in love with themselves, like it's so true. I'm
mhm.
so in love with me because I'm so in love with God and God is within me and I accept
Wow.
that. Yeah. So I had to like add that to
Hashtag goals, okay? Like, I'm trying to be like you when I grow up,
Yes,
okay?
yes, yes. So he taught me to trust him.
Yeah.
He taught me what it means to have peace. The one thing that he is working with me on is still releasing the connection I have to seek approval from others.
Mm,
I
yep.
still battle with that. Even
I
though I
mean,
know he's my primary, right?
yeah.
I made major progress. However, at times, and I think that's just the
Mhm.
human nature in us,
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna
it's
say.
just and you just have to do a good job at reminding yourself of
Mhm.
who is the validator, who is the author, who is the
Yes.
creator of this story.
Yeah.
But it does get hard sometimes where I'm just like, but and he's like, no.
Yeah. It's
Mm-mm.
true, girl, because I mean, I think it's a human nature thing. I do the same thing. And I have to catch myself. I think that's one of those things
Mhm.
that you have to be intentional about too, because yeah, you won't even realize that you're doing something to please somebody else until you're, like, already in the middle of doing it,
It
you know what I mean?
always.
And, yeah, it happens to me too. I think that's one of the bigger things too, that
Yeah.
because like you said, I think we did it differently, but in very similar ways, we both spent a lot of our lives trying to live up to whatever the
Mhm.
expectation was set upon us, right?
Mhm.
And that was to our detriment because we kind of, like, neglected our and God's, um,
Exactly.
his will for ourselves
Yeah.
because we were focusing on everybody else's will for us. And so I think
Yeah.
making that transition is going to take time. I don't like, I think it's like, it's hard. It's
It
not going to be
does.
easy to do. And that doesn't mean it's not impossible. And the where you're at in your relationship with God right now
Yeah.
is the perfect place for that to continue. Like
Exactly.
it's
And
going
with
to keep
that
happening. Yeah.
exactly. And with that, we have to teach people how to not take things so personal because it's not
Hmm.
personal, it's purposeful. It's really spiritual,
Oh,
right? It's really spiritual. It's not personal. It's
yeah.
spiritual.
Yeah.
And I remember saying that one day. I was like, God, it is not personal. It is very spiritual. I
Hmm.
am being very intentional with the decisions I'm making and the things that I'm entertaining. And like I said,
Yeah.
still have work to do, but I'm trying. I'm doing the best that I
Right.
can. So just trusting that you know, when you are validated in Christ, you release a lot of like control and worries about other things. The
Hmm.
more you like the deeper you get in that relationship, the you just keep showing up and keep choosing
Yeah.
him. It'll get easier, but I know like for me, I just really care about the people in my life. And so I have like that fear what I had of
Hmm.
like losing everybody and
Yeah.
being completely alone. But then there was a moment where I was like, well, as long as it's in Christ, like as long as I still got you, my peace, my comforter, my consistent, place
Hmm.
where I can seek you no matter what. And you're always there with me. I'm never going to be alone. And
Amen.
right, I'm never really going to be alone. And that things have to shed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Things have to
1000%.
end and things have to be let go. And so I received that and I know that's another space to get to when you're walking with Christ is being
Yeah.
okay with losing the things that no longer serve where he's
Right.
trying to take you.
Yeah. Okay, so coming back to More Than a Woman, now we have a full understanding as far as like your past, the narrative,
Mhm.
how this all started. Tell us a little bit more about your goal and like what the need is that you feel like needs to be met through your More Than a Woman vision.
Yeah. Um, so, and honestly, I'm gonna say this and I'll try to explain it. I I feel like womaning in silent is important.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Say more. I'm intrigued.
Oftentimes we have to like share and advertise and show things. And I think that's what leads to like us feeling invalidated often in our experience
Hmm.
and what we're doing. And so teaching people to like women, right? Or anybody, because when you see my logo, there's like a heel and there's like a,
Mm-hmm.
male figure shoe in there. That's intentional. But how to woman in silent. And I felt like we were just taught wrong, about just becoming an adult, becoming a
Mm-hmm.
woman. We have to learn how to love ourselves first.
Period. Mm-hmm.
Like for real. Like God first, which leads to us
Yes.
first. There's a connection there. I feel like once we learn that, then everything else. But of course, I haven't taken to that kind of teaching, but I do like hint to this is what led me here. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely share that I'm here because of God's vision. I'm here because of God's plan. So my goal is to help, like I said, build that connection of if I'm digging within, it should naturally lead you. It should, to the one who created you in
Mm-hmm.
some special way.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you learn there's something bigger, there's something greater. And so the idea is with More Than a Woman is that I pretty much host like empowerment groups once a month, which I shared the title earlier. And I want us to know that um, even just with our thoughts, our thoughts can be limiting at times.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
bigger and we're greater than that. Our feelings that be feeling, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're bigger and we're greater than that. And I want to teach people how to really get in tune to manage those thoughts and manage those emotions to align with what they're destined to be. Right.
Mhm,
Because, like, for example, I was like reading an article and it said, like, according to the National Alliance on Mental Health, like mental illness, it is currently estimated that 1 in 5 women has a mental health diagnosis. 1 in
Wow.
5. 1 in 5.
That's a lot.
1 in 5 women. And then depression is the most commonly
Mm,
diagnosed mental illness in women, with twice as many women experiencing depression than men.
wow.
And so I remember listening to Pastor Jerry Flowers, and he even said it best: depression is the real version of you pressed down. And it's time to take control, women. It's time to claim what is ours.
Period.
We're not limited to what society and cultural expectations say about us. We're
Mhm.
bigger. And I see a lot of women doing that, taking their power back.
Yes.
Oh my, it's a beautiful, let me tell you,
So empowering. You feel like you can do anything. That is
anything.
how I felt when I talked to you. That's
Oh,
it. Yes.
I
And
need to pick
that's
my head
why
up in this moment.
oh,
Because immediately I look down, I'm like, nope, pick your head up.
pick your head up.
Thank
Well,
you.
that's also why I wanted to have you here because that is such a
Yeah.
need,
Hmm.
and I love
I
to
didn't
see
even
that.
realize how much of a need it was.
Yeah.
God showed me something before I even knew. And
Mm,
then I felt defeated in following through because I'm like, well, they got it. Like people are on TikTok doing videos, Instagram. There's pastors out here doing great work,
mm,
Pastors Sarah Jakes, like, oh my God. Well, Jake Roberts, right? Is it
mhm,
Jake Roberts?
mhm,
Yeah. Doing amazing. And I'm just like, so with Women Evolve and all that. And I'm like, so what do you want me to do?
mhm.
And I remember listening to this other motivational speaker. Can't think of his name right now, but someone said to him, "We're all positioned for a reason." Yeah.
I have some thoughts, but yes.
Yes, like
Yes.
you're going to reach people that Sarah is not reaching,
Exactly.
Gary is not like there's people that are connected to you that God is going to use you to get to them.
Mhm.
And that just brought me wow, that just brought me back again. I realized once again it was bigger than me. If I didn't get it, my
Yes.
family wasn't not gonna get it, right? And I'm
Mhm.
not saying they won't, but I'm just saying I also have to be responsible. It's a responsibility. Like
Mm.
even being a clinician, there's a certain lifestyle we can't enjoy because we chose to show up for other people.
Yeah.
And if we're not taking care of ourselves, we cannot show up for the people that are under our care.
Right.
That is how I look at my relationship with God too. I chose to submit to his
Mhm.
will. So there's a responsibility that comes with that I'm still
Mhm.
learning because it
Yeah.
is very hard, I will honestly say. You know why? And maybe one day that can be a
Mhm.
conversation,
Yeah.
but like I just did not want us as women to feel like we didn't have a voice. Even though a lot of women are standing up, you see
Yeah.
the workforce has changed. The income for women has
Yes.
changed, right? So just knowing that depression and especially seeing like 1 in 5, like we're
Mhm.
2 right here.
Mhm.
Send 3 more in here,
Yeah.
the numbers will be numbering, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You
so
know yeah.
I just want to be a part of a community that chooses to spread well needed information, have hard conversations,
Mhm.
um, and make it safe and make it okay. Normalize. Like, I
Yes.
love your not okay with day. Love it. Like, I was so excited to speak and come on as a guest because it is okay not to be okay. A lot of us are not okay.
Yeah.
A lot of us are not okay, and we're doing the best that we can. And as human, right? Even God gives us so much grace.
Mhm.
He gives us all the grace we need. We're the ones that's hard
Mhm.
on ourselves. He's just
Yeah.
like, just come back. I got you. Just keep going. Don't give up. You still
Mhm.
got a pulse. You still got purpose.
Yeah.
Don't waste it being mad at you. You don't even know. Like,
Mhm.
get up. So to know that and to know that all I have to do is show up in a room with my expertise, what God graced me with,
Yes.
and share it, and just seeing the outcome every time, I was blown. I
Mhm.
couldn't believe that there was still a need and I still have a place in the army of Christ to do the
Yes.
work that's needed to be done.
Yeah, hearing you talk, it also makes me think about the fact that me too as a clinician,
Mhm.
I've felt the same thing, like, I'm just a small person, like, what can I do?
Right.
Like, this is not a big deal. But you see the need
Yeah.
Like, first of all, 99% of my clients are women. And
Yeah.
as you talk to them, I see so
Mhm.
many women who are
Yeah.
not
They're
living in
not.
their full potential, who
Nope.
are giving away that power to other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're right, like, thinking about the space, we all have space. It's like, yes, there's progress and blah, 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 but in the grand scheme of things, girl, there is work to
There
be
is work to
done.
be done.
Still, there's still work
Yes.
to be done, and I think it's amazing that you're doing that work. And,
Thank
something
you.
too that, something that I always kinda, like, keep in my head when I feel like, "Okay, this doesn't matter." When I know that I got, my little 24, regular listeners in the podcast, what I think about is when I look at my analytics in the podcast,
Mhm.
I just did this. I don't do this frequently, but I just did this the other day when I started deciding to come back.
I'm so proud of you for
The
that, by the
top,
way.
thank you so much. The top 3 countries, okay? You
Mm.
got the United States of listeners, Canada. And do you want to guess what the third country is? You're never going to guess because it's wild. Just guess what the third country is.
I can't even guess
Yeah.
because
It's India. The
what?
top 3rd country of people listening to me, the people listening to
Wow.
us right now. Shout out to our Indian listeners. Love y'all,
That's
okay? Like, literally.
amazing.
Yes, and so when you think about that,
Wow.
girl, when you think about the fact that people will never meet there are people who I will
Yeah.
never meet, I will never know them,
Mhm.
but they're listening, they're hearing this. You just never know
Yeah.
who you're gonna impact. And so even
Yeah.
if you don't even see that tangible thing, it just reminds me, there are people that are listening and we
Yeah.
have a word to say. And so that's why I keep doing this. And I love that you're doing that where
Yeah.
you're at because it is a need. We need this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where that faith comes in too.
Mhm.
Once again, we may not see,
Right.
but it's happening even with us not being aware of it.
Yeah.
And so there is a question that I ask my clients. I'm just going to pose it here. You don't have to answer.
Okay.
This is just something to get the listeners thinking about, which also helped me decide, like, yeah, you're going to move forward with this.
Mhm.
It's already in you. There was like this Kelly Rowland video that she said it like, if it's in
Mhm.
you, it's already, you just got to
Mhm.
get it out.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite questions, and it's, how old are you emotionally?
Mm, that's good.
And
Good.
that came up because when I see my clients, and as you said, majority are women,
Yeah.
I notice that a lot of them, when I would ask them, they're like 16, 13. So I was like
Mhm.
seeing adults
Mm.
in childlike form, like emotionally, and how they were like responding, how they're
Yeah.
coping, throwing tantrums,
Mhm.
feeling defeated, feeling worthless. So that question is something I always ask, and
Mhm.
I haven't had a woman or someone say, "I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm there."
Wow. So the work is there. We
The
need to
work
keep
is
doing it.
yeah,
Keep
keep
doing it.
showing up, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
So, Mel, we're coming toward the end, which is so sad. Like,
I know, I don't want this
this
to
has
end.
been so good. But listen,
Till the beginning.
it's only the beginning, y'all. We hinted earlier
Yeah.
that Mel's gonna come back, and that's because we are actually gonna be doing a series coming up in the next few weeks. I'm so, so excited. So not gonna be the last time you see this phase,
Thank
okay?
you.
So
I'm so
tune
honored.
in. I'm so excited, y'all. The next couple weeks, we're gonna be doing a series. Mel's gonna be joining me, and we're gonna really
Mhm.
just dive into some things that,
Mhm.
again, I think we need to talk about, and
Yep.
it needs to be out there. So tune in. Before we go into our What God Has Taught Me segment, Mel, do you want to do shameless plug? Okay, tell us, where can we find you? What do we need to do? Hook us up.
Yes. So I am on Instagram. I'm at More Than a Woman LLC TX. So that's More Than a Woman MORE. Then THANAWOMEN LLC T as in Tom X at G. I'm over here giving my email.
Your email. People can reach your email too.
I mean, that's it. Yeah, it's at gmail.com. And I'm also on TikTok. This is so funny. Under the say more than a
Yeah,
woman. Yep, that's it. TikTok, Instagram, I am there.
love it.
Um, so shameless plug, which I'm gonna do it. I haven't done it yet, but eventually I do want to host webinars. I know.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
I
love it. I'm gonna be tuning in. Okay, yes.
Yes, so it's not there yet, and it's so hard because I love being in person. I love the
Yeah,
room. I
yeah,
love the energy that I feel. So I'm
right.
gonna find a way to still keep that balance of offering in person for those who are in my
Mhm,
area, and then webinars, like, of course, to reach other people in other areas who would like to be a part of this movement, okay? So
mhm.
that will be coming,
I love it.
okay?
And don't worry, everybody, I'm gonna put all of the links, all of the everything in the
Yeah,
description so you can click it directly to go to Mel's page.
thank
Um,
you.
thank you so much for everything.
You're
Like, this
so
was so great.
welcome.
Before we end, y'all already know the deal. I always ask everybody, what is something that recently maybe God has taught you?
All right, God has taught me a lot. God has taught me a lot. I think the main thing that I want to say is that He's taught me that the assignment is always bigger.
Ooh, I love that.
You should see my face. I know, like, I don't like, there's in anything that I look back on, all the things that I've been through, like, for example, even meeting you, I went to that job thinking, yeah, I'm about to go
Yeah.
get my experience.
Yes. Can you
Assignment was
believe
also
that?
meeting you.
Wow. Mhm.
I go
Yes.
back to many things, relationships. There were people that I was able to connect with,
Mhm.
right? And this whole time you're thinking, "Oh, it's about this." God got something else going on. So that is something that God is teaching me is that it is always, always bigger.
Mhm. I
You're
love
just a
that.
part of the process.
Yes. Something that God has taught me in just this last week. I mean, again, so many things. Guys, I know I'm sounding annoying right now because I'm not fully saying what it is. I will. I will
When
at some
she
point.
does, you guys are gonna
But
gonna be a party.
what God has taught me this week in particular is he is always working behind the scenes and
Mhm.
he is so intentional about
Mhm.
everything. Like I've been reading Matthew 6, verse 25
Mm.
and onward. And that's the verse that talks about don't worry, do not worry about anything, what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink. And there's a part in there that talks about the birds. And it says, the birds, they got
Mhm.
food, they're fed. They don't have to store things away. They don't have to do
Yeah.
these things and they're fed every day. Are you not much more valuable than they? And so
Mhm.
it's like was so intentional about how he created nature that the birds never had to worry about finding
They
food.
don't.
And he was even more intentional about creating us as humans. And I have seen
Yes.
God's hand
Mhm.
quite literally in this past week just work in so many ways where I'm like, I see you.
Come on.
Okay. I see what you're doing, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so for anyone who's listening, I just want to say if things are not making sense to you right now, just know that God has a
Mhm.
plan. You don't
Mhm.
have to see it and understand it, but know that it's there. It exists.
It
It's
is
real.
there.
And it is something that's going to ultimately get you to a place where you need to be.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so,
And can
yeah,
I
I'm holding on
add
to that. Yeah.
that verbiage, like, just to go off what you just said, in that moment when you don't understand, something I say is, "God, I may not understand it right now, but I trust you," you
I love
know?
it.
Like,
Yeah.
that's you being able to acknowledge, like, "I'm not understanding where this is going or why this is
Mhm.
happening, but I trust that you already have it figured out, and so all you need to do is just show up." You know, there's work that you have to do, of course,
Mhm.
but just trust the process and
Yeah.
don't lose faith.
Amen. I love it. Well, Mel, thank you so much for joining
Oh,
us. This was so
such
great.
a pleasure.
This really was an extension of a
Yes.
conversation we had last week, and I love it. And I'm excited to keep on doing it with you. So thank
Same.
you.
You're so welcome.
I
Thank you so
appreciate
much for
it.
having me. I appreciate you.
Yeah. And until next time, y'all, bye.
Bye.